supercar, supercar. With beauty and grace, as swift as can be, watch it flying through the air. It travels in space or under the sea, and it can journey anywhere. Supercar, supercar. It travels on land or roams the skies, through the heavens' stormy rage. It's Mercury man, and everyone cries, it's the marvel of the age. Supercar, supercar, supercar!
Well now, have we ordered everything, I wonder? Transistors for the professor, yes. Breakfast cereal for Jimmy. Paint. PVC wire. New suspenders for me. And nuts. Sorted for Mitch. Yes. Most satisfactory. All we have to do now is to take the out-of-town coach and...
Excuse me.
Certainly. I mean, yes?
My friend and I wish to reach Bonneville Flats for the speed trials. Would you perhaps put us on the right road?
I beg your pardon. Bonneville Flats, they're over there. It's about 300 miles.
I know that, but the road, if you would be so very kind.
No, the road. My dear fellow, why didn't you say so in the first place? As a matter of fact, if you would be kind enough to give me a lift, I could show you part of the way.
This is going to be too easy, friend Zarin. That would indeed be helpful of you, sir.
I was going by coach, but I shall be delighted to accompany you.
Get in, then. That is, if you would care to enter. Too kind of you, Dr. Beaker.
My dear fellow, you know me.
Oh, we know you, Dr. Beaker. But it seems you are too preoccupied to recognize us.
Masterspy. Well, now who's a fool?
Oh, indeed.
Professor?
Yes, Mike?
I don't know what Dr. Beaker was doing to these circuits this morning, but he sure made a mess of them.
What do you mean?
There's all sorts of loose wires hanging around the dashboard. I can't see what they're for. Some of them aren't even properly soldered.
Wow! Well, if I were you, Mike, I'd leave the whole thing alone until Dr. Beaker comes back from Carson City. He shouldn't be long now.
You could be right. When the doc gets his hands on anything, it's better to leave it alone.
Hey, Professor, what's the switch doing here? I never saw it before.
Don't touch it, Jimmy. I don't know what it does.
All I know is I don't want any part of it until the maestro comes back. And by the way, isn't he a bit overdue?
You'll excuse my asking. You're not really going to Bonneville Flats, are you?
No, Dr. Beaker. Since you ask, we are not. We are going to a place called Green Ghost Wells, of which I doubt you have ever heard.
Green Ghost Wells, of course. A fascinating geological formation. Most fascinating.
What is this Green Ghost Wells, Masterspy? You did not speak of it before, and I do not like the sound of it.
Not it, friends are in them. A group of craters in the desert, about 50 miles from here.
Yes, probably meteoric in origin, you know.
Dr. Beaker, we are not here for you to give us a lecture.
Oh, then do forgive me. But just what are we here for?
To make an exchange, Dr. Beaker. Supercar for yourself, safe and sound. Otherwise, I fear.
But are you sure the plan will work this time, Masterspy?
This time it will. Now return your eyes to the road, idiot, and look out for a telephone booth. I have A call to make.
Let's leave it at that for the moment, Professor. I'll take the Jeep down to the highway and see if I can pick Beaker up.
That could be Dr. Beaker now. Maybe he missed the bus out from Carson City.
I'll go and see.
Well, I hope he's here soon. I'd like to know what all this new wiring in the cockpit is for.
Yeah, and that switch on the wall over there.
This is Professor Popkis here. Who is that calling?
You do not remember my voice, Professor? I confess I am hurt. No, not physically, you fool. It is I, Masterspy.
What? What's that you're saying?
It is very simple, Professor. I have Dr. Beaker. You have supercar. We will have a fair exchange. That is, if you do not want something unpleasant to happen to the dear doctor. But wait, I will allow him to speak to you.
Hello? Hello, Beaker? Beaker, is that you?
Yes, I'm afraid to say it's quite true. We are going for a small journey to, oh, now let me see. Oh, yes, Green Ghost Wells.
That will be enough, Dr. Beaker. I wish only to establish that you are with me. Or I could make no bargain.
Well, there seems to be little I can do. Very well.
Good. I am glad you are being so sensible. Now, I want you to pay close attention to my instructions.
Where's this place you said? Green Ghost Wells. Sounds mighty peculiar to me.
It's a series of deep pits or craters in the desert, about 70 miles from here. They were probably caused by meteors or perhaps volcanic activity.
I've got them. Green Ghost Wells. Sounds like an old prospector's claim. Is there any water in them?
Why, I don't think so. Just craters, I believe.
I wonder why he wouldn't say which one. Anyway, let's not waste time. 4:30, he said, and it's nearly 3 now. Let's set her up for takeoff.
What are you going to do, Mike?
Well, I'm not going to stand around here talking. And, Professor, get the police on the phone. If they've got Beaker, it's no joke.
The police? But, Mike, you can't do that.
You see that I have been too clever for them this time, friend Zarin.
I don't see, Master Spy. What is to stop them coming after us with the police?
Because, my imbecile friend, they don't know where we are.
But excuse me for interrupting you. Is that strictly so? I thought we were going to Green Ghost Wells.
Green Ghost Wells. Green Ghost Wells. Do you suppose that I am as thick-headed as Zarin here? These are pits in the ground, my friend. Deep holes, and there are many of them.
I'm afraid, my dear fellow, that I still don't follow you.
How do you think they are to know which one we are going to, I did not tell them. I said only that they would see a signal from the air, and that if they did not land immediately with supercar and with nothing else... Well, let us not think about that, huh?
You see, Mike, you cannot lead the police to Beaker because you won't know in which pit exactly Master Spy is hidden until you see his signal from the air. I do not think he will be visible from the ground, and it would take several hours to search for the right pit.
And we only have an hour and a half. You're right, Professor.
Gee, Mike, does this mean we're going to have to give him supercar to save Dr. Beaker?
I'm afraid it's beginning to look that way, Jimmy.
Isn't there anything we can do to stop him?
You see, there is nothing they can do but obey my instructions. No police, nothing. You can turn off the road here, Zarin, my friend. Be careful, friend Zarin. There is a long way to go yet, and I would not like to damage Dr. Beaker. That would be too dishonest.
Console to pilot.
I'm here, Professor, but I still hate to give up.
So do I, Mike, but we haven't got much time.
You know, to think I've got to fly supercar straight out, hand it over nicely to Master Spy. Well, I don't like the idea much.
If you hate the idea so much, Mike, we could always fly her out on...
Hey, yes.
On remote, yeah. Maybe you got something there, Professor. This needs some careful thinking.
I don't see how it would help us, Mike. We could fly a supercar out under remote control, but what then?
Hold on a minute, Professor. I'm cooking up something. Maybe we don't fly her all the way out on remote, just the last half mile or so.
You mean we should put you down some way away from the craters and let you walk the rest of the way?
That's right, Professor. Set me down, take supercar off again, controlling her from here. That'll keep Master Spy's attention fixed. And I'll sneak up and get the beaker. If I get to him first, you can take off again before Master Spy gets anywhere near.
That's a good idea, Professor. Master Spy's sure to be watching supercar coming into land, and he'll think Mike's in it.
I see your plan, but how will you tell which crater it is he's got Dr. Beaker in?
That's the point, Professor. But let's see when we get there, huh? Right now, let's get in the air, fast. If the doc's electric circuits will let us.
All right, Mike. Ready to charge, port engine.
If you mean to, catch the sun's rays with that mirror, my dear fellow, you've got it pointing the wrong way. The sun is over there.
Ah, thank you, Dr. Beaker. Your help is invaluable, though to assist in our illicit enterprise perhaps lacks a certain loyalty.
Port engine charging, coming up nicely. 9,000, 11,000, 13,000, 15,000, steady.
Interlock on.
Charging starboard. 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15,000, steady.
Interlock on.
Fire 1. Fire 2.
Ready to go when you are, Mike.
Here goes then, full boost.
Good luck, Mike.
Thanks, Jimmy. Just as long as I keep my fingers away from Dr. Beaker's loose wires, I'll be all right.
Right, roof doors opening. Console to pilot, console to pilot.
Hello, Consul. I'm now at 5,000 feet, heading 275 magnetic, speed 230 knots. Visibility clear all around.
Ask him what his plan is, Professor. How's he gonna find Master Spy without being spotted?
Mike, you have just 25 minutes left. How are you going to identify the crater?
With clear view. I'll climb high up so that Master Spy can't spot me and use the telescopic lens.
But, Mike, the air's absolutely still out there. He'll hear you.
Oh, no, he won't. Because I'm going to climb to 30,000 now and come in over the craters in a glide. I'll maintain as much altitude as I can while I pinpoint him, and then glide right down to a landing. He won't even know I'm there, unless I'm very unlucky.
Gee, Professor, do you think it'll work?
I don't know, Jimmy, but it sounds possible. The only trouble is that supercar doesn't handle very well with the motors off. Hello, Mike. Do you think you can control her in a glide?
Sure. Don't worry. Climbing now.
Do you hear anything, friend Zarin?
No, Master Spy. Indeed, here everything seems very quiet. I do not like it.
So, because it is called Green Ghost Wells, you expect a green ghost to appear?
Not exactly, Master Spy, but...
But nothing, you fool. What we expect is red, and no ghost either. I tell you that within 15 minutes, Mr. Mercury will arrive with supercar. Our supercar.
Altitude 27,000 feet. I'd better be careful. I don't want to leave a vapor trail. 30,000. Leveling off. Cutting throttle. Calling console.
What is it, Mike?
You were right, Professor. This is going to be rougher than I thought. I'm getting hardly any lift from these stub wings. I'll have to take her in a series of wide circles, Professor. It's the only way I can maintain enough speed to stop her stalling. It's going to be harder using clear view, though.
What's the trouble, Professor?
Well, you see, Jimmy, supercar was never designed to fly without power on. With such tiny wings, she needs plenty of forward speed to keep her up in the air. Or else she needs to use the lifting jets.
Mike can't use those, or Masterspy might hear him.
That's right, Jimmy. But I'm sure Mike can handle it.
Watch your screen. Switching clear view on now. Long focus lens.
Professor, I saw something flash.
There they are. I've got them now. I've marked them. Now I'm taking her down.
Another 10 minutes, I should think, before friend Mercury brings me my prize. Would you say, Dr. Beaker, that I have the right angle now?
Yes, about there, I should say, yes. Let me see. Allowing for a 3-degree change in the sun's azimuth over the next quarter of an hour or so.
You are so clever, Dr. Beaker.
It's going to be tricky landing, and I'm coming down fast. It's rocky down below, Professor. Don't think I dare skate her in on her belly, so I'll have to switch on vertical drive to land.
But, Mike, as soon as you switch on, Masterspy will hear you.
That's right, Professor. You'll have to take off fast the moment I get clear. And I'll have to move like lightning to beat you to the crater. Calling console, coming in fast about 5 miles from the crater, if I've still got the right one. Can't see a sign of them from ground level. Masterspy was being real clever when he thought this one up. But he's been a bit too clever. He can't be seen from ground level. But he can't see me.
Be careful, Mike, if you should hit the ground at that speed.
I know, Professor. I've already thought of that. About 1.5 miles to go. I'll have to cut in motors to break her now, Professor. Fireboat! This is really rough. I'll be surprised if Masterspy can't hear this.
Right on time. Do you hear that, Dr. Beaker? Your friend is in the sky above us, coming in to land.
Phase 1 of the operation completed, Professor. Clear view on. Setting controls for remote handling. I'll take the emergency intercom set with me. She's all yours, Professor.
Right, Mike, and don't do anything foolish now.
Don't worry. You fly supercar. I'll go get Beaker.
It seems friend Mercury is not as good at observation as I had thought. I cannot see him, and the sound of his motors is fainter, too. Can the fool not find us?
Hello, Consul. Do you read me? Do you read me?
Reading, strength 5. Are you clear of takeoff zone, Mike?
I'm clear, Professor. You get her in the air. I'm going after Beaker.
All set, I think, Jimmy. Let's hope I'm as good a pilot as Mike.
Ah, the engines are louder. I think he is coming this way.
Come on, Professor. I'm halfway there. That's it, Professor. Beautiful. You're doing fine.
There it is, Dr. Beaker. Do you see it? Supercar?
My dear fellow, I do believe you're right.
And they have seen us. The machine has turned this way. Well done, Mr. Mercury. If you would kindly put it down on our doorstep, up there on the edge of the crater. Come, friend Zarin. And you, Doctor, you stay where you are.
Okay, Professor, they're here. If you come in to land on a slight angle, they'll see the cockpits empty and maybe leave beaker.
Right you are, Mike. The rest is up to you.
Master Spy, there is no pilot.
No pilot? What do you mean, fool?
See for yourself. What does it mean?
I will tell you, my idiot friend. We know already the machine can be flown without a pilot. This means that the cowardly Mr. Mercury dare not meet us face to face because he knows that this time we have won.
No pilot. Extraordinary. Most extraordinary.
I do not like it, Master Spy. It is a trick. Supercar flying by itself. It is unnatural.
Fool! You suppose perhaps your green ghost is responsible? Ah! They have flown it from their laboratory.
No pilot? What can they have in mind?
Don't yell out, Doc, but the pilot's right here.
Curious. Most curious.
Professor, Beaker's okay. He's here with me. Take off fast. We've got them fooled.
Wait a minute, my dear fellow.
Hold it. Beaker's got something.
This would appear to be an excellent opportunity to test the new equipment I was installing.
You mean all those loose wires?
I do indeed. Request them to depress the switch on the wall, would you?
Don't ask me why, but Doc says to throw that taped-up wall switch.
I'll do it, Professor.
What's it all about, Doc?
Oh, something I had designed to scare away inquisitive creatures. I feel that Master Spy is about to fall into the inquisitive category. So perhaps we might climb up and observe.
A heartwarming sight, is it not, friend Zarin? Our very own supercar.
Here goes, Professor.
I still don't like it, Master Spy. Somehow I feel there is something wrong.
Imbecile! How can you possibly...
I knew it was a...
Well, I never. Instant dancing.
They make a pretty good team, huh? They should be on Broadway.
Of course, really it was my intention to use the charge against wild animals.
Never mind, Doc. It worked pretty well on Master Spy and Zarin.
That is essentially true.
The only thing is, with all your secrecy about that gizmo, someone could have thrown that switch when I was climbing out of the cockpit, couldn't they? And I'd have been hopping mad, in every sense of the word.
My dear fellow, there's no cause for anxiety. It says here that the charge of less than 150 volts, with minimum current, of course, it would be most dangerous to try the mains plug, is a positive tonic to the system.
It is, huh? Well, have this one on me. Me, I'd rather stay home and watch television. The programs aren't so shocking.
Supercar, supercar, with beauty and grace, as swift as can be. Watch it flying through the air. It travels in space or under the sea, and it can journey anywhere. Supercar, supercar. It travels on land or roams the skies, through the heavens' stormy rage. It's Mercury manned and everyone cries, it's the marvel of the age. Supercar, supercar, supercar!